Good morning, everybody. JT back with you in the studio. It is the morning drive, and it is Wednesday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are on which part of the country you're hanging, driving, moving around in. Out here on the West Coast, we're at 9 a.m. And of course, take it from there. You got 2-3 hours or whatever difference between me and you. Hope you guys are having a good one. Had a good weekend. Got a good show for you this morning. Got both our guys in the green rooms waiting to come out. We got Brandon back with us, and our memory guy, Matt Carey, is in there as well. Gary Jones is going to be coming up on the show this morning, and due directly to our conversation that Brandon and I had in last week's show, and I'll explain that in a minute. I'm just going to bring the guys in because there's so much, and Brandon's on a limited time budget with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up?
Hey. First off, I want to acknowledge this weekend, man. Did you guys catch the UFC 250 America celebration? Nobody did, huh?
I did not. I'm old. I had to go to bed.
That was a weird deal in itself.
I heard people talking about it, but no. Sorry.
The time, the programming on Sunday afternoon, I looked it up just to verify with Paramount Plus that I was on the same time thing that they are. It said 2:00. It was going to start at 2:00 Pacific. So at 2:00, I'm there, and there's nothing. And ultimately, 5 p.m. was when it started. Then I started Googling, kind of going, what's going on here? Okay, I know I'm not crazy. I'm not missing what's really happening, right? And they did have some weather delay issues and things that were, kind of coming into the production and causing concerns. But ultimately, 5 p.m. Pacific, it was on time and it started. I watched the whole thing, and I'm a sports fan for a lot of different sports. UFC is one of them. Been watching it since, the I think double-digit numbered events, back in those days. And that's how you measured, UFC. Everything was in the numbered events were the big ones. Those were always the pay-per-view. Now that they are on Paramount Plus, if you subscribe to Paramount Plus, you get their entire library of fights. You get everything. Anything.
I didn't know that. I have Paramount Plus, but I guess that's one of the reasons why I never really followed it, because it was always like I wasn't going to pay for it, and I got tired of trying to figure out how to pirate it. So,
well, you don't have to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on Paramount Plus. If there's a UFC event that is happening now, the numbered events are still there. They're still in the UFC DNA of things, but they are all available through subscription through Paramount Plus now.
Did not know that.
The America 250 celebration. I can't say enough how, first of all, super, super mad, respect to the production company, the way they put this thing on. And I mean, from the show, the heart, the core of the show itself, to the all the stuff around the show, the production. It was the most American, patriotic, non-political, by the way. There was no politics involved in this thing. This was for everybody, okay? Non-taxpayer funded, by the way, okay? No tax dollars went to this thing. Dana White paid for this thing, man.
Awesome.
$60 million production. He paid for it, and his sponsors.
Was this the one at the White House? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I did see the guys. What is it? The Nitrous Circus or whatever that was doing the motocross in front. That was pretty cool. Like see freaking guys riding, in front of the White House.
Well, it was a weekend long production. I mean, we weren't able to get. At least I couldn't find it. Any of Saturday's stuff, and I would have loved to have. Now I'm sure I can go on YouTube probably and watch a lot of it now. But Zach Brown did a concert Saturday night.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that guy.
And not to change the subject, but of all things, did you hear about the terror plot? Guess where the guy was from?
Ohio.
One town, well, basically just south of our county is where that guy was from. So,
Yeah, the guy's
of all
mother.
things, and of all things, Danville, Ohio, like it's the smallest little podunk area. Like it's that'd be the last thing in the world that I ever figured Danville would be known on the national stage for. But I guess, it happens.
I think I when I saw that story come up and I'm like, what the hell is in the water over there? Like, is Brandon going to go psychotic on us? Brandon's going to go postal on us someday, or what? I don't know, man.
I'm already psychotic. If you look at the local politics here, I'm just a buffoon. That's a crazy guy. So I mean,
well, you know something, man. I'll tell you what. It is the world we live in right now, and that is that change is a scary thing for a lot of people.
Yep.
And it is, but it's what everybody has to deal with no matter what. It's the law of nature, and I listen. I'm a creature of comfort. I like having familiarity in my life. I like change too, but I like to be a little more in control of it than some people sometimes offer you on the way in that journey. But that back to the event. Just a hats off to them. We all knew talking during the production, people, friends, texting and whatnot, we're saying, oh boy, this is going to be something tomorrow for the news cycle. They're all going to just go off on it. And they did. They did. And by the way, it was a fantastic production. Congratulations to UFC, Dana White, all his people for what they did and how they did it. Every fight ended in a TKO or a knockout. There were no decisions in any of the bouts.
Jeez.
0.
Wow.
And the card, listen, there was some guys in there, I'm not going to lie, I'd never heard of. And so, there was a lot of that going on. But during the production, the usual incoming information through text and stuff, comments that they shared during events was there. And it was business as usual. It was just a different a platform and where they were at. I mean, the backdrop and the diversity. I mean, this is what everybody, both sides of the aisle are always trying to say they support, and it was done in action on Sunday, and it was diversity of the athletes were they were from around the world, these guys.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a USA thing, although in the audience, the immediate audience were all first responders and service people, servicemen. I mean, talk about a hoorah in the air, man. It was just cool to watch. It really was. The fighters were escorted out by first responders or servicemen that had been Medal of Honor winners or something, something phenomenally high up in the world of respect and honor. And these guys were walking our guys out there, the fighters out there and to the ring, and just amazing. It really was. Now, yeah, there was one guy, and of course it's the guy from California, right? That just, why? I don't know. But anyways, if you want to know what he said, go look it up. It just was stupid. I mean, and Dana White's like, yeah, I'm not a fan, but listen, the guy, kicked ass and that's what he was there to do. And so for that, okay, other than that, yeah, not so much. Yeah. Just and then that was the only guy, and this guy, he's also apparently a pro football B squad guy, I guess, and it just would have been okay if he didn't go off in that. Why he went there, I don't know.
What was his some of his rhetoric?
It was just one comment about one person. And again, I'm just not even going to.
The reason why I asked is because you said it was no political, so I was just curious if that.
It wasn't. It was satirical, and this guy is known for his, off color comments and comedy and humor, and that's his. It was just it didn't need to happen. Stupid. It really was.
Well, I will say I did see the comment, or I guess I heard it, I saw it, I see the aftermath of, naturally all this stuff pops up, in your feed. And I seen it, and I just had to laugh because there is a response out there from them, now. And I'm like, well, hey, maybe if you do that, you'll be able to pay all the contractors for your presidential library then, you just never know. So,
oh man. I there's so much misinformation still out there. It's like think it's no different than it was in grade school, man.
yeah.
Honestly, it's not. These are the same kind of, made up whatever rumor, fantasies that are out there that people just think sounds good, must be true. Oh yeah, so and so said it was, gotta be. It's on the internet, it's real. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. As far as trusting government or anything like that, I don't think you could trust the government past World War II.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
once 1945 happened, pretty much anything on, I don't care who it is, what it is, how it is. I feel like it's even questionable during the 30s, maybe. But anyways, the moral of the story is,
yeah. Well, anyway, I again want to just say job well done, being involved in the industry of putting a show together and production and everything that goes into it. What they did and how it came off and what it looked like and sounded like was just awesome, absolutely phenomenal, very, very strong patriotic message, and very supportive of our first responders and all of our service people that any of the uniforms out there in any of our armed forces, not to mention all the supportive people in the audience. It wasn't the like NBA finals, okay? In New York, it's like looking at movie row on court side, right? It was a little bit different vibe at UFC. There was celebrities in the audience, yes, but different caliber of people that were out there at that event versus the NBA. And congratulations, by the way, to the New York Knickerbockers. For all of you that don't know, that the Knicks actually have a full name. Let me check something here and see if we got our buddy Gary texting me. And we don't, not yet. So I better let him know, hey, we're on. We are live.
Hello, coming, Gary. Gary, are you out there?
Just stole that from Bruce Buffer. There's another guy that's just an amazing, guy on the mic, man. Bruce Buffer, that guy, and coming from a family that's what they do. I mean, I is that in their DNA, or did one see the other? I think I think that's his uncle or something. So Bruce being the UFC guy, and I can't even remember, Michael Buffer. Is that the one that does fights, the pro fighting?
I'm
pretty sure we need our memory guy because I'm thinking
Michael Buffer. Huh?
Yeah. That's he. Yeah.
Yeah, it says
he's another phenomenal on the mic guy. My girlfriend.
Yes, announcer. That's him. Yep.
Miss Julia. I think she had an uncle or something that was part of pro boxing, and he was a ring guy for years. Another Hull, his last name was actually Hull, and he was on the ring at Madison Square Garden. Quite famous guy, from what she tells me about it. Anyway, I just want to dispel any myths too. Again, we did not pay for that. We do by paying for the subscription to Paramount Plus to watch the event, but it was not taxpayer funded. None of it was. And I thought it was awesome, man. They had Scott Lawn Products sponsoring the redo of the White House lawn after the event to bring it back to as it was before or better.
Yeah, $1 million. So that's pretty cool. They were doing that, and I would love to see the lawn. I noticed the picture they used. It still looked pristine in the picture, and I'm like, that's probably not how it looks today, but I'd love to see just the aftermath of what it looks like currently.
Well, there was a lot. I mean, there was the other event area that they had for the overflow, because there was only 4,500 seats available around the ring, I think was the number. And then they had an entire, huge concert area, if you will, with a massive stage and big screens, and for the crowd to go to. And they said they had over 200,000 people at that event. For the
Wow.
weekend. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I laugh because I seen all the people, on there. Oh, he's destroying, that's historical, and my gosh, they're destroying it. And I'm like, what always cracks me up about that is, and so many people don't realize this, but like, for example, the National Mall, the reflection pool, it was part of the Potomac River. We filled it in and got rid of the literally all the historicalness. I mean, there was an entire river there at one point, and we filled it all in. Like, we're, in like the 1890s, like,
hey, you're dispelling the myth, man.
Yeah, right.
Don't shatter the illusion.
Yeah, events have been going on at the White House forever. Like, geez.
Yeah. So let's go back to last week. And I texted Gary. So I imagine he must be trying to wrangle himself into a position where he can get going. Last week we were talking about what's our favorite big rig movies. So Matt, we got to ask you, buddy, you have any favorite big rig movies that you...
Well, I'm looking at this list you told me to look at, and I got to laugh. Transformers is on here, it said. Can you believe that?
Well, it was
Transformer.
Optimus Prime, dude. I mean, he was a mutt, though. I mean, there was so many different parts on that guy.
It's got to be Smokey and the Bandit, probably. Honestly.
Yep.
I just like that movie. I just do. I like the music from it. I just like the whole, I don't know, just the whole way it is. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, we decided that out of Smokey and the Bandit, which there were 3, we just counted that as one, because so that was one, and then there was all the other ones. Well, and we mentioned all the usual suspects, Black Dog and
White Line Fever, Convoy,
Convoy,
Highballing.
Yep. Yeah, Convoy. We didn't talk a lot about Convoy, but a lot of trivia stuff. So the Chip Davis, the guy C.W. McCall, Chip Davis, all connected there, and that was the guy from. Oh crap! See, this is where Matt comes in. What was that? There was a Chip Davis and C.W. McCall were one and the same, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he said C.W. McCall. Yeah, he sang the song Convoy.
Yeah. Well, Chip Davis was a famous band that he was also the guy from, and I can't brain too many brain cells ago. But it was like when you found that out, you're like, no way, that guy. And what's the holiday band that comes around every year? And you only see them on the holidays, pretty much. And I think there's like different versions of them out there now. It's kind of like the new Christie Minstrels, though that band has been that band, but it's been just insert the newest, latest, greatest players into it, and they go and play wherever they play at. Maybe
Chip Davis co-wrote that song. Chip Davis co-wrote the song Convoy.
Okay. And what was Chip Davis's other band? That's the question. And I can't remember the damn name, but it's just such a shocker when
I put him in originally, I had to look because apparently there was a Chip Davis that had something to do with The Simpsons. So
had to do with what?
The Simpsons.
Oh,
so it was all over that.
Well, anyway, You keep working on that, figure that out, and let me know, because it's a
Manningham Steamroller. Is that it?
Yeah, Mannheim Steamroller. There you go. Thank you. So Mannheim Steamroller, that is Chip Davis and Company, and of the same, C.W. McCall and Convoy, and it's like, how did those two ever come together, right?
And they did Christmas albums. Christmas albums.
There you go. That's it. There you go. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, interesting trivia. If that ever comes up, now you guys can win at that question. Last week, 2 movies stood out in our quest of what was our favorite Big Rig movies. That after we were talking, Big Rig, the movie, was one of them, and American Truckers Long Haul Heroes was the other. Big Rig, as it turns out, that was a Discovery movie that was made back around 2006, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range, I think is what it was. And I'm looking at you guys are going to the Parking on the Prairie truck show, right? I am not, and I don't think Brandon. In fact, I know Brandon's not either, because I just talked to Christian yesterday, and she said you're not. So I can say no there, Matt. I don't think you are either.
Where's that at? Sounds cool.
And in fact, that's a great question, by the way, Ian. Christian will be on the show this afternoon on the weekly update to promote Parking on the Prairie. So tune in for that. This other movie, Big Rig Truckers, had one of our 10-4 magazine regular contributors, Dennis Mitchell, in the movie. And it was, as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, damn, that looks like Dennis. Now, take this into consideration. I didn't meet Dennis until, back in 2015, 16, 17, something like that. And this was done, almost 10 years prior. So it was a younger version of Dennis. But there he was. And then at the end of the movie, he was credited. And they were shot in Tennessee at a truck stop that I don't know if it's even still there or not, but the movie Big Rig, that was one version of it. And Dennis got back to me. In fact, Dennis and I had about a 2-hour conversation the other day on the phone last week about, all that movie and his involvement and what it was, and how interesting it was that the conversations in that movie that were being had then are no different than the conversations that are being had today by everybody in the business. And I'm not kidding you, man. You could stamp 2006 or 2026 on that movie, and it would be relevant either way. The only thing that was different is we were all younger then, and it looked a little fresher than we do now. So it was quite the show to watch in that respect. It was a time capsule. At the same time, it wasn't, because it was so relevant to what's going on now. Fuel rates, obviously, cost of insurance, just cost of doing business, everything, that's out there that we all in the industry, especially you guys that are out there running every day, have right in front of you, man. It's, cost of fuel, cost of trucking, period, fuel, maintenance, insurance, the hard costs of doing business. Still everybody's right in front of it. It's right in front of you. And the other movie was this American Trucker, Heroes of the Highway. Well, that one I find, here's Gary Jones and let me bring it up. It's got 4 different main characters in it. Tony Justice was the other one that everybody would recognize, obviously. And it opens up at the 75 Chrome Show. So where I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, that looks like 2021. And we were there. And sure enough, it was. And we were there. 2021 75 Chrome Show. Now, both of these movies, the interesting thing about it is there are many different versions of both of these movies on YouTube. It looks like they've been sliced and diced. I don't know how many times.
Right.
And so, if you come in, if you find one of them and it doesn't have the same names that I'm calling it, don't worry about it. It's pretty much probably the same movie. It's just they have kind of been processed, reprocessed, and probably
the one you're
pirated.
talking about from what year? What
21.
year? 21. Okay.
21, yeah. Yeah, American Truckers, Heroes of the Highway. That was actually.
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm just looking. You're right. Yeah. There's like there's a billion things. So the one you're talking about is from 21. Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. And then the other one, which was Big Rig, that one again. That one's been really regurgitated over and over again, and it has a hour and a half runtime, and the one I'm looking at on my screen, it shows 2.7 million views, whereas American Truckers, it's got 6,300 views, and I'm sure that's just one version out there that has that many views on it, but there's probably others with more or less that are out there. But it again, in that particular instance, and I wanted so bad to get Gary on here, and I don't know what happened to him, but man, we were talking, and now it's like he's in between gears somewhere. I'm gonna shoot him a note here and see if we can't get him. The story in there, in fact, it's pretty entertaining. He's hauling a boat, and it's this commercial. It looks like a pontoon kind of setup, and it's like a 3-axle trailer. You got 6, tires and wheels on it. And this thing is the biggest POS that you've ever, laid hands on and hooked up to a truck. It literally just kind of starts disintegrating on the trip where he's got to take it, from where he started to where he's going to go with it. And Brandon, you said you had some knowledge of this thing too, so jump in at any time.
Yeah, I remember the trip, and obviously we were all at I-75. Matter of fact, that was the last time I was down there at the show, sadly. And we all look forward to seeing each other. So, we had contacted each other throughout the week, and Gary obviously was racing to get back on the East Coast, because I think he pulled that out of either was Washington State or Oregon.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it came from, pretty much the West Coast. It came all the way, pretty much straight off the ocean. And he had to pull it the whole way. And I remember, just the frustration in the conversations, and it got to one point where he wasn't even sure he was going to make it.
Yeah.
Because he kept having so many tire problems and trailer problems. I think he even lost a hub at one point. It was just a constant.
It was eventually, before he got to point, B, where his final destination was, he replaced all the tires on that thing, lost the brakes on it. It like I said, it just kind of started eating itself. I mean, and it almost, ended that trailer, truck, and boat's life on the road, because it was just kept losing everything from brakes to tires to control to whatever. It was, coming apart on him. And I mean, and he's having to go through this. And at the end, it was all patience were gone.
Well, I think of it like National Lampoon's, like, the Christmas, where, in the end, the car is just pretty much destroyed, or was maybe Vegas Vacation, by the time they get there, the car's been through so much, it's pretty much, it's done. And that's how that boat was.
And that's exactly what was going on. It was, and it wasn't anything to do with him. It's just, you pick up the haul and you're going to take it, and then you get going down there. You do all you can to check everything out, and then along the way, this thing decides to eat itself, and that's pretty much what it did. And just incidentally, so it didn't get any better once he got there for all of this, because Gary and us at 10-4, we connected, and Gary was gracious enough to donate his golf cart that he brought for me specifically, really, to use at the show, because I needed to get around to do all the live streams that I was going to do from the show, and I did what I set out to do. But his cart had a gremlin in it, and it just would not continue to run. It kept dying, and it would just die randomly. All of a sudden, nothing, And he kept trying to fix it and figure out what it was. Anyways, we finally gave up on it. And then ultimately, my tripod, and I only had one, the head on it broke. And so I'm I'm going to go live that night and do the light show. And I'm just, my brain is shot at this point too, because there was just so many different things that were going on, and that was another one of them. And what am I going to do? So I got the duct tape out, man, and it was literally, I was NASCAR, on the spot, man, repairing that tripod to get it to work so I could do the shoot that night, and got it to work. Well, unbeknownst to us at 10-4, I am in the process of coming down with COVID. Didn't know it, but that's what was going on. And I was out of my head.
I remember. I felt so bad for you, because I remember walking into the Chrome shop, and I walk out, and you're just in one of the chairs in the game room, and you're just all sprawled out, and you're out of it. I mean, you are out. And like, it's to the point I'm going, okay, either he's hungover, or he had way too much fun last night, or he's to the point where he actually needs help. But then it was to the point where I'm like, well, you're resting so peacefully, though, at the same time that you actually look really comfy. I hate to bother you.
I was out.
It looks like the first bit of relief you're getting, that you were definitely getting some good rest.
I was totally and completely unconscious and out in that chair, that couch, or whatever it was in the arcade at the Chrome shop. And I mean, I look back at that now, and other folks that, like yourself, that saw me in there, and I can't imagine. I mean, a lot of folks were like, oh, you must have had fun last night. No, I didn't. In fact, I didn't have any fun. I didn't drink. And then Shannon ended up very ill as well, and not from COVID, but just in a whole nother realm of ill. It was just one of those deals like, okay, when is this going to stop? Well, it's not going to stop till we get home. And not really for some, especially me, because then 2 days later after I got home, I was 11 days in the hospital with COVID. Yeah. So
I remember that.
It was something else, man. But this movie that Gary was in, it was a European production. So accuracy was not a high priority in what the show's narrator or whoever was writing the copy on it, accuracy was not there, which, who's going to know that? Well, everybody that like us that watched that movie, and we're going, what did he just say? No,
I got it going right here. I'm just kind of scrolling through it. Yeah.
Guys, I got to run. It was great to see y'all. Y'all have a good day. Hopefully Gary gets on soon. Pick on him for me. Don't give him an easy pass, because he deserves all the crap you're going to give him. So
if you got a minute between you leaving and walking in where you're going right now, give him a ring for me and say, hey, are you okay? Or okay.
Yep,
all right,
I'll give him a ring.
All right, Brandon. See you, buddy.
All right. Yep. See you guys. Bye.
All right. So Brandon's got to run and get out of here and go do important Brandon things right now. So we allow him that grace and on to the day, through the day he goes. Man, Ohio is capturing headlines and has been for a while with crazy people doing crazy things, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why. There's so much of it.
I don't either.
I was watching the video here to see I don't know. The guy that the whole. So they were talking about that plot with the guy from Danville. I mean, everybody was like, oh, something's going to happen. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And then some guy from Ohio. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know why so much stuff is going on.
I don't either.
I don't know. It seems like it's worse and worse, but maybe it's just because the way we get information's a lot faster, I guess. And it you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like, it just seems like it used to be like you'd have all these things and you wouldn't have like 6 people trying to blow it up, when they're setting it up. You know what I mean? Like, like you would have a festival and you would hear stuff about, people getting drunk and passed out or whatever, but you wouldn't hear about before it even happens, arresting a bunch of people for trying to shoot it up and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's not the first time stuff like that's happened, and it won't be the last, I'm sure. But I mean, I'm when the age of information really started, coming around and being like it is now, more of it became available. I mean, look, they've got all these cable news networks out there that got a news cycle to build and fill and do that's what they're doing. They're looking for something to talk about. So,
well, there's that, and to go off to some of the stuff that you talked about a couple weeks ago, you're talking about all these internet personalities and stuff.
yeah,
there are so many, I guess you would call them news personalities of, not just doing, other stuff, but like, I mean, around us. So my son was, he's got a Garmin like fishing,
GPS
live
or
scope. He's got a
gauge.
Garmin live scope, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he goes, they were ice fishing this winter, and they're out ice fishing, and they found a truck submerged in the water.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So they call, everything. It was everywhere, but it was like, the bigger news, whatever. But there was like 9 of these like local news people that like they call them that, like personalities, like interview them and stuff. It's like, are you kidding me? Like,
yep.
What the heck, And,
yep.
And I just see it all over the place. Everybody's doing their own version of this news stuff, and I don't know. It's wild. Some of it's good, I guess. I bet.
Well, there's something to be said about, and I'm gonna bring it up here. I'm looking for it here. Give me a second. There's something to be said.
But
digital creator.
Go ahead.
So here's Meta has put it together for all of us to be called something. We're given a title now. We can't just be users. Everybody's got to be something. Well, myself
a personality, or I guess
influencer, digital creator, whatever. Yeah, and now
right.
I'm dubbed a digital creator. All right. Well, that being said, I think some have taken it to the point where, okay, I'm a digital creator, then I got to get out and create some stuff, and they are, and that's the mentality that's out there. What that has turned itself into, it's basically it's Meta out there creating a base of content for its advertisers, and they don't have to pay anything for it,
right.
But they charge for it to be advertised on.
So I mean, I'm seeing this with so all our kids are older, right? All my kids are older, but I've got nieces and nephews, and my wife's family. There's stuff. Her 16-year-old niece was here last week, and we were talking like, what do you want to do and stuff like that, and like that was kind of like her thing. Like, she was thinking about that, and it's just like, man, like, I don't know. It's just like, it's not, everybody can't do that,
Well, but everybody thinks they can.
I know.
and it has, really thinned out the recipe of, what it was to what it is now.
Well, it over dilutes everything. And
that's right.
It just makes it makes it to the point where, like, I don't know, I'll be honest, some of it just like, I don't even want to deal with it. Like, I don't even care. Like, it's almost, it's overload. Well, that's what it is.
It's been an evolution to get to this point, and I'm back through, from early 2000 to where we're at now, which, we're 26 years down the road of the original, stuff that was out there that everybody was getting involved in. And originally when it came around and there was a way to connect with each other, it was so cool. It was like, wow, this
MySpace.
is just,
I think of MySpace,
Yeah, you just nailed it. Yep.
Or, I mean, I can remember though as a kid in the 80s, my dad, I guess you would say, was tech savvy. He had stuff set up. You get on chat rooms, even like with a Commodore 64 and a phone that you stick on the modem. And like, he was doing internet stuff in the 80s. So I don't know. I guess, it just wasn't as big of a thing.
Gary says he's been on 20 minutes and
I don't see him. I think he's.
I don't see him either.
He must be on the wrong thing.
Must be. Let me resend him a link.
Yeah. Or why don't you, if you need to, you can hop down for a minute or whatever.
I can send him another link here just to make sure he's got the right one. And
I I'm using the same one we've been using forever, so I don't know what.
Yeah.
He's not on the right thing, that's for sure. But I don't know if there's anybody, whoever's watching or in the comments there. Ian, I know you're there if you want. What's while we're trying to get this finagled around, what do you guys out trucking movie there? Anybody got any comments on that?
Yeah, good question. Okay, wait a minute. I see what's going on here on this. Let me change something on my end.
Go ahead.
We'll get there. Give me a minute again. Hang on. Gary, if you're watching, I would say close it and re-go into the room. And that way we got you in there. He's been in there 20 minutes. I don't know what room he's been in, but let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm resending it. There you go. If you're watching, Gary, I just resent the link.
Wouldn't be a show without technical difficulties, right?
Yep.
So here we are. That's what we're talking about. Talk about how you get all the news and information, but it seems like even in this day and age, you can't get the daggone internet to work half the time anymore. So, especially in your situation, when you've got somebody that is streaming and doing so much, it's super irritating. It's like it's out of your control sometimes. You can't even get something done, whether it's a hardware issue or it's a issue with the internet. I know different times here lately we've had stuff, and we live in a pretty populated area, and it's like, how in the heck? And I've been looking at Starlink and stuff, but I don't know.
Starlink is good.
Yeah.
Starlink is good. You know what? I talk to people. There he is. Hey.
Put it in my mouth. How you doing, John?
Good. Good morning, Gary.
How you guys doing today?
Matt?
Onions, olives.
Nope.
Matt,
we don't know each other. Brandon was on here, but he had to take off.
I finally made it. I think we were having technical difficulties.
Yeah, we were. We must have been. But you're here now. So, oh man, how the heck have you been, buddy?
Good. Been working hard, man. I'm super busy today. I just wanted to take a few minutes here to visit with you guys.
Well, I appreciate it. Where are you at today?
I'm actually in Lawson, but I've been all over this morning. I started in St. Joseph, Missouri, and then went to Kansas, and now I'm back over here, and I got 3 more trips to do today. So I'm in the middle of selling some trailers and ordering some new ones, and it's been a hectic day.
All right. Well, trucking is making you work today then.
That's right. Definitely is.
Well, listen, we were talking about that movie that you and I discussed, that you and Tony Justice and others had done back in 2021, and the stories about what happened to you in that movie, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but that haul was a nightmare haul for you, man. And I'll tell you, by the end of that thing, you were done, right?
Oh man, I was ready to get them out of my truck and move on. I can promise you that. It was a bad deal, man. They gave me that trailer. They supplied the trailer and the yacht. The trailer brakes went out. It was a no-go.
Yeah. No, it was. There was a lot of things that went wrong with that thing, and then ultimately, of course, when you got there and tried to help us out, and your damn golf cart decided it was going to have a gremlin running loose in it. Whatever was the deal with that? What happened with the golf cart? What was the story?
Man, I don't know. It never did it again.
No way.
I swear I got it back home. We never did anything to it. It's been running great for years since. I have no idea. It didn't like you that day, John.
I'm telling you, man, it must have got COVID too. I think it did. It had to.
Yeah, that was a wild ride, man. I'm here to tell you. They met me up in Montana, and the whole camera crew climbed in the truck, and the producer, and we had one chase car, and it was something else. They definitely it was an experience. They just wanted they asked if they could sleep in the yacht. See you guys later. They asked if they could sleep in the yacht at night when we were stopped, and I told them absolutely not. They had to go get hotels, and it was an experience.
That was not a yacht, man. What was that thing, anyways? That was like a harbor tugboat kind of looking thing or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck it was, to be honest with you. It was a private, whatever it was a private deal. It definitely wasn't commercial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It looks like some little boat the Coast Guard runs around in.
Yeah. I billed them a bunch for that trip. It cost them dearly to be to put me through what they did that trip, but it was fun. See you, ladies.
Yeah, you deserved every dollar you got out of that thing. So, I mean, the production that was, they tried to make it out to be, American Truckers, Heroes of the Highway. I mean, that was the name of it, or at least one of the names that it flew under. And you got Tony in there, and there was a couple of other drivers that they brought into the mix as well. There was a gal in there, who was a operator that they did her story too, which, her and her family and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then there was another guy, and he was a Punjabi guy that, and that's what he called himself in the movie. So it ain't me, guys. Don't anybody panic here. That's what he declared himself to be, and his guys, and their lifestyle. So they were capturing some different aspects of what was going on in America and the trucking landscape back then. We're not that far removed from then. It seems like a lifetime now ago because of everything that we've all gone through since then. Again, it goes to that pre-COVID, post-COVID timeline of the world that we all kind of acknowledge now. And it used to be just, BC and AD were the milestones of the timeline of the world. Now it's post-COVID, and how are things as far as in what you're doing, keeping the wheels rolling and compared to just 5 years ago? I mean, where are we at?
Well, things got tough there for a while. And then Sean Duffy, he stood up and did the crackdown on speaking English and doing all the stuff and got a lot of them off the road, to be honest with you, and made our roads a lot safer. And with that being said, it's the trickle down effect. It's taken a few months now, but things are coming back around, man. Fuels went down here at home 80 cents in the last week. So we're down to right at $4 a gallon here in Missouri right now. So that's a good thing. And the spot rates are unbelievable right now because they can't get nobody to haul the stuff. They had all the foreigners hauling the stuff illegally with unsafe equipment. And now it's full steam ahead, man. I've put 3 more trucks on this week, and we're constantly growing, and just the demand is outrageous. So we're going to continue to ride that ride while we can because it won't last forever. So it's always ups and downs in trucking.
That's good to hear because that's some stuff that we were concerned about. Like, what kind of impact was that really doing? We hadn't really talked to anybody because Brandon's out of it a little bit. He's not hauling. So you're saying it's been good then, obviously.
It
right?
has been good. It really has. And, it's because what they've done now is they've changed it to where they're holding the brokers liable. So if a guy goes out and crashes, they're going to go back on the broker now if he kills somebody. So the brokers are having a hard time, getting stuff covered with normal guys that have their everyday gig. So the rates have went through the roof. Man, we're right here. For example, 6 months ago, you did good to do $1,000 a day home every night right around here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And right now we're pushing $2,500 to $3,000 a day at home every night. It's insane, the difference. And the rates have went up. The fuels starting to go back down. We actually had it at a decent price before that little war thing started. I say little war thing, but you know what I mean. Yep. And it's finally starting to come back down from that. So we're starting to make money again. But we're getting to the point, I think, that trucking's going to be good again for a little while. So we're ready for it. And I know it's long overdue. There's a lot of guys that have been struggling, and hopefully this will give them a boost in the arm to get them going again,
Well, I want to dovetail in on that. A couple of things that you brought up, and that is when Duffy came in and started taking control of the situation and acknowledging where we were in the industry with why things were so out of control and doing something about it. It was all the rest of us out there, me included. I'm on the road and I'm navigating through trucks out on the road, and I'm wondering, where are these guys coming from? How is they're licensed? Well, guess what? They probably weren't, and they probably shouldn't have been on the road.
Hundreds of thousands of them. It's ridiculous. And you have to understand that you get on the broker board and there was stuff they're wanting you to move oversized loads for $1.50 a mile. And we were getting paid, $8 a mile 10 years ago. So it's like you're trying to understand what happened. And it seemed like it happened overnight, but it didn't. It's just it finally got to a point where it started affecting everybody's bottom dollar, and it got bad. And I'm glad to see that. I'm very sad that it took a tragedy to open the eyes of America and Duffy and all them folks to get involved. But I'm absolutely happy that they did, and they've made such an impact on our industry. And I believe that it's only going to get better. I think we got a good 2 years ahead of us of good things coming until, office changes again. And we'll just have to see where we go on that end when we get to that point.
Well, I'm excited that I'm hearing the cost of fuel going down. It did go down a little bit here on the West Coast. I'm up in Pacific Northwest in Oregon. We're still not there yet, believe me, but it needs to happen. And ultimately, they need to figure this thing out. California and Oregon both on the West Coast. We don't need to be the record, high fuel price attention getters. Same fuel should be available across the country for the same price, period.
I have trucks everywhere right now. I've got a guy running up in the Northwest today. He's coming down out of Washington State on 5. He's headed down into California, and he was telling me that they're pushing $7 over there. Consecutively, and that's with using apps and stuff to get the discounts that you can get with the apps. I use that app around here at home, and like I said, I'm under $4 a gallon right now, right at $3.99, and it's went down about 25 cents a day for the last couple days, and I'm not complaining. We're just sitting back watching and hoping it just keeps dropping. But I'm hoping that goes across the board, because down in Texas, and Texas used to be one of the cheapest places to buy your fuel. Texas, Oklahoma, man, that's not the case anymore. So hopefully they start following suit, and we can start getting these fuel prices across the board, because these guys that are running all over, $6.50, high fives, mid sixes, you're really cutting into what an owner operator can make, because the rates are only going to get to where they're, you know what I mean? Yes, you can always ask for more. And I say no to cheap freight all the time. But at the end of the day, you're only going to get what you can get. So you have to eventually take something and go. And when you leave an area that's, say, where I'm at, it's $4 a gallon right now, and you think you're doing good, and you take a load to, say, Florida, and they're pushing $7 a gallon, well, now you're back up there, and you know what I mean? You're trying to – it's just a roll of the dice. Are you going to make any money this week, or aren't you? So all we can do is continually watch and try to stay in the markets that are best, right now. And like you said, I feel bad for them guys on the West Coast, because it's crazy over there. And, you think, well, I'm going to charge them $10,000 to come off the West Coast. Well, okay, that sounds good in theory. And even if they pay it, by the time you pay your fuel bill, you just hauled a $7,000 load. You know what I mean? So you didn't really charge them $10,000 once you put the money in your fuel tank. So
if you're just covering costs to get there and back, that's not making money. That's just covering costs. So my biggest thing was, telling guys back in the day when I was hauling, air freight don't pay. So you need to have load both ways. There's no such thing as a backhaul, and make sure that you get what you need to stay in business and be profitable, whatever that is. And, everybody's pretty much, we're all running in the same realm, but it does change with the landscape. Florida, California, wherever you're at, the fuel prices jump up. that changes your whole bottom line. Yeah, it's no
I absolutely hate that term backhaul. There is no backhauls. I got to use the same amount of money to get one way or the other way. I need paid the same in both directions. There ain't no damn backhaul. That is the most irritating thing ever.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was, you're going that way anyway. I might be, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go for free.
That's right. I'm not just moving money. I want to make money. So
right, exactly. Well,
but I'm seeing it across the board. I mentioned earlier I'm purchasing some new trailers and stuff and putting orders in, and the cost of the trailers are coming back down. And that's always a plus to see it in every aspect. You know what I mean? So I think that things are getting better, and it's only going to do, 6 more months will be better than where we are now. So everybody just
stuff out there. Is the availability? Are you able to find the stuff? Is the availability out there?
It is, and the market is going up and down on the truck side of things. But you got to remember, they impounded and took all them guys off the road, so now they flooded the market with their equipment. So now if you want a plastic Cascadia, boy, you can buy a dozen of them. You know what I mean? They're just a dime a dozen. They're very cheap. So it just depends on what you're in the market for as to what you could get a hold of. But I feel like everybody's running about 90 days out right now on a build. And I'm not speaking for everybody. As far as the manufacturers I deal with low boys and trailers, and I deal with Globe Manufacturing out of Florida, great company to deal with. They're about 90 to 120 days to get you a trailer if you want it spec custom and with all the bells and whistles.
That's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's really not. I'll put my order in on Tuesday and finalize everything, and you can figure 90 days later, I'll pick one up from the factory. So
that's good.
No, that's not bad at all. If you're anywhere under 6 months on a build from the time of order to getting it, that's a reasonable deal, and that's anybody in the business should be planning that far ahead, anyways. Unless you can buy something off of somebody's line somewhere that's a reseller, then you got to expect that at least that much.
And I'm seeing the rates go up with reefers as well. It's not just in the low boy oversized industry that I'm in. I think that I have a lot of friends in every aspect. You know that, John. And I think that the reefer game's going up too. I mean, I'm finding that because, there was a lot of foreigners running reefer. So the reefer rates are coming up. Again, it's all in where you're running and the market in that area. But if you stay on things and pay attention to the markets, you can make a living right now, and you can do pretty good at it. So guys just got to get on their game on what they're paying attention to and, stay alert with what's happening in the United States. And I think you could do very well.
Now, are you connected to the prime carrier or the prime? Are you second in line? How far down the line are you from, the original consignee of the haul? So are you getting direct calls from people saying, I've got this that needs to be moved, or is it a broker getting to you? Or
well, I have direct customers, and I would say that we do about 60% of my work is direct. Other than that, it's through brokers. And I call them customers because the brokers that I deal with, I've dealt with for over a decade, and they might as well be a customer. No one else is getting offered that freight unless we're busy, and then they put it on their board. So yes, they're a broker, but they're brokers that I've worked with for many years, and I consider them friends and customers. So
yeah. So you've got trusted relationships out there, and that's what matters, right?
Absolutely. And you bring guys on it, and that's the tricky part is you gotta as crazy as the industry got, you gotta watch yourself because guys will come on and they want what you got. You know what I mean? And they'll come lease on just to get a hold of your black book. And then they'll call them and say, well, I could do it for less money, or I don't have to make what he makes, or you know what I mean? And luckily I have good grounded connections, and they don't care. They say, no, we use Mr. Jones. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and when that happens, it's sort of like the cycle, begins again, and guys try to come in there and undercut. That's never ended. That's always been there. But the reality of it is, and a good customer, that's why I say trusted relationships. They stick with you, you stick with them, and there's not any of that. They're not looking to save a dime or whatever it is, and then end up, that guy's going to go chase another rate somewhere else and leave you hanging. So stick with what you got and and you trust, and everybody wins. That's the way to do it. Gary, I know you gotta run and you're busy. I don't want to hang you up any more time, but thanks for getting on. I don't know what happened earlier, but I'm glad you made it.
Hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all having me, and everybody make sure you get your subscription to 10-4 so you get that magazine to stay up to date on the latest in the industry.
There you go, man. You're awesome, Gary. You take care. Be safe out there, all right?
We'll see you later, guys. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, there, Gary Jones. Always good to have Gary into the show, and longtime friend of 10-4 Magazine. Check Gary out on social media. He's always got a lot of good brands that he's representing out there in the industry that are featured on his trucks, and they look good while they're going down the road and look good while they're parked too, man. All them custom accessories that are on his rig. He's got a few. So we'll catch up next week. Hang on after we shut her down there, Matt, and I'll give you some information here that we were talking about, and that way you can help you out. Everybody, this afternoon we have on the show, in case you don't know, and it is over here on our Facebook, our YouTube channel, and on X. Christian Masters, and she is the one who's putting together this Parking on the Prairie truck show that's coming up, and that is coming up at the end of the month. We'll have all the lowdown and information on that show, and something about what's happening in the show world that her and I spoke to yesterday. Things are really becoming more regionalized, and it's okay. It's a good thing. I think it's all right. I think it sort of clarifies the world out there and the show world. It says, stay in your lane a little bit, but there's still going to be shows guys drive to from all over the country, and we're thankful about that, as are some of the other big shows that are going on. But the hyper-focused, hyper-local, regionalized shows, and this being one of them, smaller amounts of trucks, which is fine. And if it works for you and the numbers can work, then that's what you do. But tune in this afternoon, 5:00 right here again, and we'll have Christian on the show as well. And I hope to have some other people in there too. Matt, good to have you back, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for all you do. Listen, everybody, keep the shiny side up. Stay safe out there. Thanks for jumping in on the morning drive, and everybody watching on the playback, because I know a lot of you do. Appreciate you doing that as well. And if you catch it in time to tune in this afternoon, please do that too. We'll see you.
Take care. Thanks.